Hello everybody, welcome to the latest video on life taps and backstabs. This is my YouTube channel where I'm talking about the Necromancer, the Rogue and the Direlord on Pantheon, the Rise of the Fallen, and this video is Patch Notes Day. It's actually Patch Notes Day, and well, it's not Patch Notes Day, it's Patch Notes pre-day thing, but I am very excited about the patch notes. I'm on my Necro, and my Necro is literally jumping for joy. Look at him jump! Yay! Can we jump in skeleton form? Let's do some. Let's do some skeleton jumping. Anyway, I'm incredibly excited, as you will find out in a second, because we have the preliminary patch notes posted up, ready for Wednesday. We're going to get the patch coming on Wednesday. If you can hear the rain outside, I'm in the middle of a thunderstorm, so it's very rainy. But Diablo here is incredibly excited, and so is, what's this one called? Zekor. So is Zekor, Mr. Zekor here. He's super excited as well, and we're going to go through why. Okay, let's have a look at the patch notes. This is the preliminary patch notes. They do say down here that any changes, this is for Wednesday, so 5 days time, at time of recording. I'm recording this on the Friday when they posted this up. So this is for next Wednesday the 19th. This is the Wild Blood, or more importantly the Wizard patch notes, which is going to be really, really cool. These are the preliminary ones. Any changes will be posted on the patch notes page. So on Wednesday, if you go onto the patch notes page and you don't see anything, then these are the patch notes which will be going live, which is going to be really, really exciting. And I am excited about this because they have snuck in some Rogue and some Necromancer changes as well, which I'm super excited about and wasn't expecting at all. So because I'm super excited, I thought I would do another patch note video. Apologies for them not being around for the past couple of patch notes, but I wasn't particularly excited about any of the recent patch notes. Right, so the Wizard class has received a major revision. Many of the old Wizard spells have been deactivated and replaced with new versions. So, if you are a Wizard, you will need to visit your trainer NPC and repurchase most of your spells. The spell prices for new wizards have been temporarily set extremely low. Okay, that was my next question. I was like, that's a lot of money. So they've been set extremely low to help make this easier. So basically go and buy your wizards on Patch Notes Day because at some point they're going to bump the prices back up again. We hope that our wizard players will enjoy the new and improved magical power at their disposal. So I think this is really, really good. I have a wizard. I have a port wizard, which I got 1 kill into level 15 and just stopped playing. I really, really did not like the wizard class. So this should be quite interesting. Will I drag her out of retirement or port duties? Possibly. In fact, probably. Actually, I think I probably will. So I definitely want to kind of see what the new resource management is like. I really didn't like the old one, so it's going to be really interesting. We'll get to those. That's right down at the bottom of the patch notes. So let's get through the world, the general, and the little bugs nice and quick. So the major one for the world is the Wild Blood. So the home of the Wild Blood tribes in the Silent Plains. That is just northwest, just northwest of Skydurban. So the home of the Wild Blood tribes. We did Sarlor's group, Sarlor's dream team, if you like, if you can hear the rain. Like I say, I'm in the middle of the thunderstorm, sorry about that. Sarlor's dream team did kill a little bit down there until the Earth Shakers. You were taking 4 damage from the Earth Shakers, and then we stopped because I was like, well, this is just pointless. They did change that, but at that point we'd out-leveled it, so we didn't really go back. So the home of the Wild Blood tribes in Silent Plains is now accessible. It's now accessible? Have they added a new area and it's not just that area? Can you go, oh wow, adventurers who wish to explore this new POI should proceed with caution. I wonder whether it goes underground or something. Okay, interesting. I thought it was just going to be that little area again. Wow, okay, cool, so I'm definitely going to go and explore that. QA video with Sarlor sneaking around all the Wild Bloods. So, local weather systems have been... I don't get this. Local weather systems have been re-enchanted to stop chasing players across the map. So, if it's raining on you, it's not going to keep raining on you? Like, I thought zones had like a global weather system. I didn't realise it was localised. Okay, cool. A special high-level event has been enabled in Blackrose Keep. This event can occur randomly and has a higher chance to occur when more groups are actively adventuring in the zone. I mean, they've got to find out one way to get people into Black Rose Keep, right? I really didn't like that zone. So now we've got to go in there and we've got to actively adventure in it. So we can't just camp a named. Yeah, I'm curious to see what it is. I'm sure our guild will wander down there and try and trigger this and try and figure out what it is. So yeah, that'll be cool. This one, however, this is a little bit more exciting for me than the Black Rose Keep one. So Nashura, the Uncounted Prince, which was accidentally put in a few patches ago and then removed, may once again be confronted within his lair in Halnir Caves. The appropriate key will be needed to open the door to said lair. However, and obtaining the key may require a number of expeditions into the dungeon to unravel some of its secrets. I love this. I love access quests. I really, really like access quests. Yeah, that's going to be really, really cool. I'm curious, because I've got all the drops apart from the hat. I didn't get the hat. I've got all the drops from him, so I'm wondering whether the drops are still going to be in-game or whether they've been tweaked or something. Or whether it's just going to be new drops, so that's going to be interesting. But yeah, I thought that was a really cool fight, and I was very sad when they pulled it. It was really fun, it was really different. No spoilers, but there's a lot of things going on during that fight, and it's really, really good fun. So I'm glad he's back, and I'm glad you have to kind of do like a little access quest to get in there. It's a cool little area. Please, 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 if you haven't, go and do the subsequent access quest when it launches. I mean, if you haven't been in there, is what I'm saying. Yeah, go and do the access quest. Go and kill this guy. He's really, really cool. I'm curious to know what level he's going to be as well. I think he came in the game at about level 35 at the time. But yeah, it was a really, really fun fight. I thought it was awesome. Right, General, let's smash through these really, really quickly. Added support for being able to map the same key to different things in the Keybinds UI. No idea what the purpose of that is. Please drop it down in the comments, because I don't know why I would want two things on the A key, but hey. There must be some reason for it, otherwise they won't put it in, right? Added the auto sprint keybind, which by default is mapped to the left shift key and allows sprint to be toggled. I'm not going to turn that on, so I'm going to turn that off. That's fine. I like holding mine down and just kind of keeping it, like, you run it down to like a little bit off your stamina and then let it build up and then do it again. So I like doing that. That's fine. I suppose if you're running a long distance when we get mounts. Added a move off screen. I love this. Added a move off screen UI button into the view button to the settings other menu. It helps recover any panels. So occasionally, like, your group window will just vanish, or your pet window will vanish, and it's because you've accidentally like dragged it off the screen or something. It's happened a couple of times on mine. I've had to reset the UI and then put all my windows back in the places where I like them. So now this has gone in there, and it helps recover any panels that wandered off screen without disturbing your carefully arranged layout, which is perfect. Corrected an issue that would sometimes cause spell effects not to display in the intended position on the target. Don't know what that is. I'm guessing root appeared on people's head or something. Most Wraith NPCs, so all the ghosts down in Halnir Cave, for instance, now count as undead for the purpose of spells and abilities that target the undead, which is fantastic. Necromancers, clerics, rejoice. Really, really cool. Current weight will now be displayed in red text when the player is encumbered, carrying more than their max carry weight. That's cool. Like a nice little visual, like you are in the red, correct this sort of thing. I'm sad about this one, but I'm not sad about it. So macros now have a limit of 50 lines. I'm sad about it because of one macro that I've written on my Necromancer, which you will have seen. I think you will have seen in my Necromancer video, where I cast Pact of Shadow, which is my mana transfer. It's a 1 second cast, 1 second cooldown. So you just chain cast it. So I've put that in a macro and just copy and pasted the lines all the way down the macro. So I can press that and I just keep transferring the mana to my target. It lasts about 25-30% of my mana now. It used to do 75, but obviously I've got more mana now. So that is now no longer in existence, but that's fine because I'm guessing at some point Pact of Shadow will become a channeled ability. So yeah, if you got, I don't tend to use macros that much. Like it's It's usually like a couple of spells linked together. So that's absolutely fine. Added more hairstyles for halflings. I didn't know they needed some. Bug fixes. We've fixed a crash related to unsupported ASCII characters in chat. Fixed several issues with climbing and hanging systems. They've fixed a bug causing hoof filters to be ignored. Filtering now behaves as intended. Okay. Fixed a social bug that causes the LFG group window to group tab to open after refreshing the Who tab. Fixed a visibility bug that allows nameplates to show through terrain and structures, which is cool. Fixed a bug that would cause the player to get stuck in an evading state in How Near Cave. See, this is really interesting that they find all of these bugs and correct them, because like I don't run into the vast amount of times that I see bug fixes in patch notes. I've not run into them, so there must be such a small thing, but they've been reported, which is why like you should always report your bugs. Fixed a bug where pets would stop responding after they kill an NPC. I have had that one. You just kind of pull them back and send them back in again. So, but that's good. You don't have to do the on guard follow stay thing anymore. Fixed a bug that caused players stuck in uneven terrain when having a high ping. Never had that. I've never really had a high ping. Fixed a bug where merchants would refuse to provide services to players due to slightly negative reputation. If they've got slightly negative reputation, shouldn't they not be serving them anyway? But anyway, fix an issue where you would sometimes see characters' breath when they weren't in cold environment, and also bubbles, and also snow when you've ported out of Hangor, and also when you get rezzed when you're swimming and you're still swimming, etc., etc. Fix an issue where looting a corpse resulted in an increased freeze time for each player death. Increased freeze time for each... Oh, wow. Okay. Ranger Scout pets should now... Well, that's not an issue now because it's been fixed. Ranger Scout pets should now be properly summoned when beginning channeling. IK. What's IK stand for? I was trying to figure out what this was. IK adjustment to fix an issue where some movement animations were not playing properly on some races. I don't know what IK means there. Possible fix for player not getting some credit for a kill in some rare cases. I did have that one. Right, now, items. This is a really cool change. So, they have removed Surveil's Searing Slippers and put that item onto its own table for the Banshee and increase their drop chance some. This means that they have a chance to drop in addition to the other items rather than instead of. So the way it works is when a mob has loot on its loot table, if they're all in the same table, then the loot picks just from that table. So if something on that table is a really, really low drop, then the chances of it dropping is really, really low. But if they pull it off that table, put it on their own table, then they can adjust it and then it can drop in addition rather than instead of. So in theory, we should start seeing the slippers a little bit more often, which is good. I know we have a few hairs we haven't turned in the guild. Diablo, my Necromancer, and a few others definitely need the slippers, so that would be really, really cool to see if we could pick up. And they've done exactly the same with Telderas as well. So they've now categorized each item rarity with a normalized drop chance for each item in their table, and then the total potential number of items dropped per kill that remains the same, but because you've got the different tables around there, you have a little bit more control over when things drop. And they've updated some NPC abilities in Mad Run. I'm so sad. I should probably do a video about Mad Run. I haven't got any... I've got a lot of photographs. I haven't got any video from old Mad Run. I loved old Mad Run. The spiders were huge in there. There were loads of them. Now it's just sad. I very, very, very much miss my old Mad Run. I'm gonna do a video all about old Mad Run actually. I've decided now because I love that zone. Please, 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 please put it back to what it was. Or at least close. Like, it was ridiculously difficult to get in at some point. Removed some custom shaders from Wizard Stance VFX until they can be optimized. They've reverted a unified colour palette of shock and arcane spells for wizards, and they have updated Mana Guzzle with a new beam graphics, which sounds really cool. So my Khalida, my enchanter called Khalida, who still has her shield by the way, is now going to be beam, just like phenomenal cosmic power, just mana guzzling with a beam. Right, classes. Druid, snare line duration and movement speed reduction increased at all ranks. I mean, that's good. That's good. That's fine. I don't know what it was. Was it not very much before? I thought it was quite a lot. As a necro, I thought their snare was quite a lot. Monk, soaring dragon cooldown increased to 20 seconds. It used to be 15. Thank you very much to Xanathor in my guild for pointing this one out. And then sidekick line passive proc rate has been increased to 22%. So that's gone up from 12. And then the same with the backhand line. So the rough breakdown on this is, if the fight takes less than 20 seconds, we've got a DPS increase. However, with the time to kill probably going up a little bit, so Soaring Dragon will now do less damage over a longer fight, but you should see an increase in DPS from these two, although these ones will be a little bit more random. Yeah. Anyway, right, the very exciting one. Necromancer, Shroud of Undeath, mana per tick increased. So it used to be, and I did a timing of this actually, I timed this. I have 1200 mana on my Necro. My Diablo has 1200 mana when he's buffed, and it took him 2 minutes 48 seconds sitting with Shroud of Undeath buff on, to go from 0 mana to 4 mana. So it took him 2 minutes 48, which I don't think is that bad. I think it's all right. Like, one of my things that I like about games is that they give us a sandbox to play in, and then we express ourselves within it. So if we have to kind of sit and med a little bit and like in between, and just mana in versus mana out is quite a strong resource. However, this has now been increased. So this is our level 30. This is our level 30 mana regen, and that's now been increased. So hopefully that will go up to about 5 mana a tick. Sounds quite good. And then we get a new one at level 42, Aura of Undeath. Fingers crossed it's got an illusion on it as well. I want to look like a skeleton, thank you very much. Or a wraith. But then if that goes to 5, then I would imagine this is going to be 8. So if we get this plus an enchanter mana regen, we're going to be at 16 mana a tick, which is going to be insanely cool. It's going to be really, really good. Right. Because I've been talking to another necro, because there aren't a lot of us around, so I like to kind of bounce ideas off another necro. So I've been talking to another necro, and we can't quite decide on this one. So dots from all lines now apply initial damage when applied. So if you put blight, for instance, if you put blight on a mob, as soon as you cast it, that initial dot lands, bang. Now, I would like I said in the Necro video, I would like it if the dots just ramped up in damage. So the first tick does 20, the second tick does 30, the next tick does 50, the next tick does 80. Like, I would like them to ramp up like that, and I think that's probably a bit more of a necro way to apply damage to the mob than front loading it on the first tick. Now, I will say that I would like a 5th dot line, and at that point, once you get a 5th dot line, you could have 2 of them doing an initial dot damage and 3 of them not. Like 3 of them ramping up, 2 of them not, like that kind of thing. Like, you've got a little bit more variety. So I think variety should come in here. However, we are now getting more damage, which is fine. And also, if you are in a group that has 2 wizards in it, or you're in a high DPS group or something, you do now feel that you are applying a little bit more damage because you are getting that initial dot tick. However, all lines, I think they should just, yeah, I do think 1 more line of dots for the necro, and then you get some variety. 2 of them do initial dot damage, like 2 of them ramp up damage, 1 of them doesn't ramp up damage, 1 of them's very hard to resist, 1 of them you have to work a little bit harder to get the resist through. I don't know, like five lines I think sounds quite cool. But we are getting that, which is great. I'm loving that. The curse line stacking rules have been cleaned up, which is good. That's always been a little bit of a weird one in terms of what stacks and what doesn't. We have a new disease dot, which is called Blight, which is at level 50. I hope that hits damn hard at level 50. Drain Soul, we got another life tap upgrade at level 46. I can't wait to see what I can complete heal myself with that. I think my record so far has been 800 point heal, which is absurd. Evaporate Blood, which is a new fire dot, and that's been added in at 48. I love my fire dot. And then Heat Bloodline damage has been incredible. It's just so much stuff. There's so much stuff. Life Leech, we've also got a new life tap dot, which is fantastic. That comes in at level 45. And then we have Reap Strength, Stamina, Intellect, and Charisma has been added to the vendor. So I'm guessing that's another level of those drain stat lines. And then finally, Dark Empathy mana cost has been removed, which is fantastic. That's our health transfer, which is brilliant. Sacrifice and heal amounts have been increased, which is brilliant. So this one, it's stacked. It did scale with stamina, so when you had a little bit more stamina on there, you were healing and transferring a little bit more health to the target. I think my record was something like 88, so I was healing the target for 88. I don't keep track of how much damage I was taking on that one. I don't even think it's 1-to-1, but this is fantastic. And it did quite regularly make its way onto my bar as well. In those high DPS groups where the dots, it would take you too long to put lots of dots on, and I hate life tapping when I'm not full health, so I would put Dark Empathy on there, heal the tank a little bit, or heal some DPS a little bit, and then life tap it back, things like that. So that's really, really cool. I like that a lot. I was not expecting this at all. The Necromancer, I can't believe we've got level 50. I can't believe we've got spells up to level 50. We still haven't got Feign Death, but that's fine. I wasn't expecting this at all. The important thing about this one is going to be the aura of undeath and how much mana regen that is going to be. The mana regen has been a thing for the Necros for a while. I haven't really run into it very often. I'm more than capable. Not more than capable. I'm more than happy. It's not a question of capability. More than happy to know that if a situation needs me to unload a load of mana onto a mob, then I will kind of sit out. Not really sit out, but just put a slow and a dot on the next couple of mobs to med up a little bit. But yeah, hopefully this should be really, really cool. And it's gonna help us out. I can't wait. I'm loving playing Diablo. I just wish he wasn't a human. Yeah, there's the Necromancer, unexpected Necromancer patch notes. Fantastic. Okay, Paladins. I don't know anything about Paladins. Right, so they have fixed a bug that allowed Hymn of Devotion to stack. Wait, what was Hymn of Devotion? That's the group buff that increases healing, isn't it? So that could stack? It's a shame I don't know 2 Paladins. I've never known that. Righteous Chop now properly calculates against AC. Burst of Light line bonus threat multiplier has been reduced. Wrathful Aegis damage proportion has been heavily overperforming in single target and AoE situations. Now does 3 ticks over 9 seconds with increased threat per tick. The intent of the ability is to be an AoE threat skill, but it was functioning as one of the best damage skills in the game. Oh, okay, cool. Now that makes sense. Okay, yeah, so now you can't just AoE loads and loads of mobs. Now you are just AoE threat targeting loads and loads of mobs. That's cool. Yeah, that makes sense. Best damage skills in the game. Yeah, That's fine. That's fine. I think that's a fair transfer of abilities. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's fair enough. Okay, so the Rangers, they fixed an issue where the shrapnel from the Rangers' crystal arrow was removing their engage-disengage crit buff. Wow. I've not heard any Rangers moan about that. That's an interesting one. Okay, the Rogue. Come on, Sarlor. Come on, Sarlor. Okay, so I've been on a mission to try to get to 2K. I've been trying to get to a 2K backstab. My record so far is 1733. I've hit 1733, so now the backstab line, the damage has been increased. So hopefully 1733 can now go up to 2000. So I need 270 damage on the backstab to go up to 2000. So 1733 is the current record pre-patch. There we go. That just means I'm going to have to record all of Sarlor's gameplay until I break 2000 on the backstab. Right. Anyway, the waylay line, which nobody uses, right, Chopper. Waylay line cooldown has been reduced from 12 seconds to 9, which is brilliant because waylay didn't do as much damage as backstab. I don't know. Sorry, that's my airbrush compressor. I was airbrushing earlier. I don't know why I don't know why it had gone up. It was historically it was always a smaller cooldown because it did less damage and because you could do it from the front. Yeah, so now waylay has gone down to 9 seconds, and then some modifiers have been adjusted up and down at various ranks to account for the change. Net damage has been increased at all ranks, which is good because it wasn't really comparable to backstab. Now at least it might be an option. Toxin lines, updated tooltips to reflect available use on both primary and secondary weapons. Okay, cool, fine. This is the big one though. So the backstab line, the damage has been increased. I am going to, on Wednesday, I'm going to log on, I'm going to go into Silent Plains, I'm going to find a green con mob and I'm going to backstab it and see what it does. Yeah, fab, like it. Summoner. Are there any Summoner players out there? Congratulations, you got some patch notes. They have put an upgrade to Erudite Mind, and it's been added to the vendors for level 25 and level 40. Erudite Mind, I believe, is the intellect buff. So you now get 2 more intellect buffs. So I would imagine the level 41 brings you just under the enchanter one. So we'll see. And then Zephyr's Windblade and Biting Wind, the damage has been increased, the mana cost have been reduced, and Gale Step has had the cost removed completely. So the Zephyr's Windblade and the Biting Wind, I'm guessing that is the Air Pet's nuke damage spells. So you are now able to do more pet damage. Which again, I honestly, and I know I take the mickey out of summoners because I was really excited for them to come into the game because I played a mage in EverQuest and I loved my mage in EverQuest and I was really excited for the summoner. And then they came in the game and I just tapped out within the first 5 levels. I was like, this is not what I want my mage to be. So I know I take the mickey out of the summoners a lot, but I can't wait for you to get a rework and for you to get your abilities in. It's going to be so much fun hearing the summoners go, oh my god, look what I'm able to do. It's going to be great. Yeah, at the moment, I like I keep saying, like I tip my hat to any summoners who are still playing because you have 2 abilities and it's embarrassing, honestly. Yeah, congratulations. Hopefully you will have this sort of treatment very soon. Right, the Wizards. The Wizards, you've waited a long time. Here you go. Here you are. This is going to be an exciting one. I am going to read through and give you my thoughts on this. I have played a Wizard 2 level 15 and got very frustrated with it. I've grouped with a fair through. However, I do have one of the best Wizards in Terminus in my guild, so I have asked him for his thoughts on this, which I'm going to give to you at the end of reading through all of this. So hold on to that because I do have some actual wizard feedback on all of this. So yeah, hold on for that. So there's a major class update, and it is a major class update because they have, as they said at the beginning, they have removed a lot of spells and replaced a lot of spells. So you have you're going to have a field day. This is going to be awesome. Okay, so please visit your spell vendor immediately. As like I said earlier, go and grab all your spells now. Most existing spells have been removed. All new spells have had their prices reduced significantly during this phase. You get 18 new direct damage spells. They've been added to the game all the way up through to level 50, which is phenomenal. It's really, really good. Focus cost has been normalised to 3 focus per cast. This is probably my least favourite word when it comes to MMOs. Normalising everything. I'm gonna so I don't think everything should be normalised. I do think there are certain things that should cost 2 focus, some things that cost 1 focus, some things that cost lots of mana, some things that cost a little bit of mana, some things that have like a 50 metre range, some that have 25 metre range, things like that. Normalising doesn't create variety, and you don't end up with interesting, not rotations, but interesting uses for spells in certain situations and everything, because everything's normal. So one thing I will say is that it's good that they've it's probably good that they've got it all normalised now, so that they can then hopefully tweak things in the future. So you have an awful lot. I'm just going to go through these because I don't know what any of this means. Blast of Cold, Bolt of Frost, Evoke Embers and Evoke Magma. So there's your fire ones. You got Prism Burst and Bolt of Lightning. That's your, I don't know what that. What's that? Anyway, so you get that one as well. You get Blast of Ice and Glacial, which is obviously going to be your cold. You get Evoke Fire, Sparking Bolt, Blast of Lightning, Molten Spike, Arctic Blast, Molthrain Storm Arrow, which sounds really cool, Bolt of Fire, Veril's Icy Comet, Shatter Shock, and Kukuru's Venoth's Inferno Lance. I hope that is just like a hold the button down for as long as you can massive lance, fire lance thing, which would be really, really cool. So there's lots of stuff in there. But yeah, this is going to be awesome. So you get 6 new channel direct damage spells have been added. Each tick restores at mana. I like that. That's really cool. A nice way of gaining mana back through direct damage and channeling as well, which is cool. So you get a new wave, multi-strike, direct damage spells, which have been added. Restores focus upon completion. And then you also get AoE spells, which have been added. 6 of those. You get starting scrolls have all been updated. Yeah, this just sounds really, really cool. So you get some wave ones. I can't remember what the wave, Rain of Fire, I think it was on my mage in EverQuest. I didn't play a wizard, so I don't know. But yeah, you get wave spells and you get AoE spells. I have a very good wizard friend in my guild who is just going to have an absolute field day with all of this. Right, so there's also familiars. So familiars have taken their proper form as wyverns. Once again, with new bonuses. Ranks unlock at level 12, 16, 20, 32, 36 and 40. That is an awful lot of ranks. That's a lot of ranks. That's really cool. Now, familiars, the little floating orb that you had, that is now your familiar, I believe. Now, it's not a pet. It is just a It's just a graphical representation of your familiar. It's not like you can send your wyvern in and go and attack. Don't start thinking that you're a summoner, or summoners rather. Don't start thinking that wizards are now pet classes. They're not. It's just a graphical representation of this ability, in the same way that the clerics have that little floating tome, which I think is really cool as well. That is a lot of ranks though. That's really, really cool. Arcane Chords is now a line with multiple ranks. This is interesting. Does that mean that Hungry Earth for the Necro is also going to get a line? And also, what's going to change on it? Is that going to be Arcane Chords at lower level is going to root them for less time? Or it's going to be less resistant to damage before it breaks? Something like that? I don't know. That's quite interesting. Cold Snap has had its focus cost removed. Snare has been decreased from 60% to 50%. That's fine. 60% was a lot. The focus cost removed. Yeah, okay, whatever. Phoenix Fire has been changed from a focus cost to cooldown. I'm not a big fan of this. Just like a cooldown of I can now get health back. Like, it's fine. It's cool. Yeah, okay. It's not like it's frustrating, but it's not frustrating is not the word. It's I find it strange how every class has a way to heal, and every class has a way to do X, and every class has a way to do Y, and things like that. So I just think it's weird that wizards can heal so effectively. Especially now, it's just locked to a cooldown now as well, so you don't even have to give up one of your resources to do it. It's just a button press. But wizards, let me know if let me know. Particularly, I suppose, if you're taking damage from casting a spell with no focus. So yes, maybe, but yeah. Anyway, elemental weaving activation mana cost has been removed. Stack duration has been increased to a minute. That's rather nice. I quite like that increase. The Nervous Magic Readiness cost has been removed, 1.5 second cast time added, stat scaling now added. I don't know what Nervous Magic is, but removing the Readiness cost, I hate Readiness for casters. I think Readiness is ridiculous for casters. I think that should just be removed completely, and everything that is technique orientated should just cost mana. And a flat level of mana, not a percentage. I hate percentage mana cost. I think that's dumb. So Cold Focus, Shock Focus and Fire Focus are now instant cast spells, so you can now get your focuses back instantly. Mana Current has been added at level 14. That sounds like a mana regeneration spell. There's an awful lot of mana regens in here. And health regens. You're getting a lot, wizards. You're getting a lot. Upgrades to Erudite Mind has been added to vendors at level 25 and level 40. Again, that's the same as the Summoner one, so I'm guessing that's going to be more int. Dragon Firebomb has been temporarily removed until we can find a better purpose for it. I wonder what that better purpose is going to be. That's going to be interesting. Burning Weapon and Elemental Piercing have been removed. I mean, yeah, okay, that's... yeah, like a little proc for everybody. The wizards were... probably fed up with giving everybody on the raid Burning Weapon, but that's fine. Mana Skin, I like this one. Mana Skin is now obtained at level 20. It is no longer channeled and absorbs damage up to 30% of your total mana pool for the next 10 seconds. I really like this change. Rather than it being channeled just didn't seem to make sense, because if you were being hit, okay, you could then direct that damage to mana, but you weren't able to do anything about being hit. Like, it needed to be a button that you pressed that then absorbed all the damage that was coming in mana, but allowed you to do something about it. So it allowed you to cast a root and then run out of the way, or it allowed you to cast that last nuke to kill the mob, something like that. It being channeled never really made sense to me, so this is really, really good. Radiate Heat is now obtained at level 4 and is self-only, lasts for 15 seconds and has its damaged on hit increased, which is nice. And then Sure Spell has been moved to level 36. It lasts for 15 seconds and is no longer consumed by the next spell cast. I quite like that, that's cool. So it's just a buff that is sitting there bubbling away and giving you a buff. Target level restriction has been removed. So... this is not considered a balance pass for the wizards. Please expect further adjustments to all values, resources, as well as more spells in the future. Please leave your feedback here, and please do leave the feedback. One thing I will say with feedback, it's very difficult on the forum to post considered feedback. It's very easy to go... It's very easy to say things like, I don't know, Evoke Fire, the mana cost is too high on Evoke Fire. Like, if you're giving feedback, try to make it considered with and in context as well, which is one of the reasons why I like doing videos, because I'm able to, or I think I'm able to, kind of offer and show that I am considering like lots of different things when I'm trying to give my feedback. So yeah, there we go. Now I do have, because I don't play a wizard, but I do have one of the best wizards in Terminus in my guild, which is Lucky Mr. Slayer. So I have asked Slayer for his thoughts on this. So in no particular order, although to be fair I have changed it into a particular order, the legend, the ultimate Mr. Wizard in Terminus Slayer says, or his thoughts are, thumbs up for the cooldown on Phoenix Fire, as long as the cooldown is reasonable on that one. That one's pretty cool. It's also a thumbs up for the Dragon Bomb being just temporarily removed. They can kind of leave that one and get that right before it comes back in. And also Burning Weapon and Elemental Piercing. Like, they're not really worth it to be in the game in the current state. Whether they come back in or not, it remains to be seen. However, not a big fan of the 3 focus per cast, and I didn't like it because of it's just normalizing all the spells and putting kind of everything in the same bracket. However, being a very, very good wizard, obviously Slayer can see even further on this one. And the issues that you have with this is that you've got some stances, so Fiery Gaze, Icy Outlook and Thunderous Flow, which reduce incoming and outgoing damage of a certain type by 20%. So if you're in Fiery Gaze, for instance, then you will be reducing incoming and outgoing cold damage by 20%. So if you're in a Fiery Gaze stance, if that's the stance that you're in, you're not going to be casting cold damage. So if all the spells are costing 3 focus to cast, you're not going to have much option to go between either stances or between the spells, because there's no point, because some of them are having 20% less damage in them, and they were the reasons why you would use these is to gain the fire focus back or to gain the cold focus back, because it would give you some regeneration on those. That's going to be interesting. Slayer he basically just said, where is it? He basically just said, there does not appear to be any benefit to stance dancing as far as I know. We've been stuck in Thunderous Flow stance for the extra 20% fire resist and no penalty to Lightning Bolt with faster shock focus regen, which is obviously really, really good. But then there's no mention in the patch notes about the 3 stances. For example, it is not smart to cast fire spells in Thunderous Flow stance because of the 20% outgoing fire damage. Hopefully they don't miss this important factor. So you've got those stances in there as well, which are affecting your focus. And then if they're just making everything cost 3 focus, but you've only got 5, you can only cast 1. You can only cast 1 spell from each element. Is that the phrase that you use? So yeah, that's an interesting one. But hey, let's find out when it drops on Wednesday. So once it's dropped, we can get in there and find out how it's all going to go. Thank you very, very much, everybody, for hanging out and watching this one and listening to me rabble on. I know it's been a long one, but it has been quite an exciting patch notes. Obviously, there's a highlight in there with all the Necrons. Necro stuff. Necrons is Warhammer 40,000. That's completely not Pantheon. So yeah, the Necromancers, I'm super excited to see what these are, particularly Aura of Death. If they just randomly drop Aura of Death and it's got a Wraith Illusion on it, I am going to lose my shit, because then I won't be walking around as a human Necromancer anymore. I'll be floating around like a ungodly wraith. Yeah, that's going to be awesome. Anyway, they're not going to do that, are they? But yeah, there we go. So that's all of those. I would love, like I said, I would love a 5th dot line to come in. But yeah, thank you very much, everybody. Take care. Drop a like and a subscribe. Drop down in the comments below what you expect to see for all of this. I hope the Wild Bloods is really interesting. And like it says in here, it's now accessible. I wonder what area is now accessible. I don't know what they've done. I'm going to have to go have a wander around Silent Plains now, actually, and just see, just before our raid. But yeah, thanks very much, everybody. Take care, and I will see you next video. Cheers. Bye-bye.